Hello everyone, I greet in the name of God Almighty. My name is Apostle Nathan Silas, and today we are taking out the second segment of Islamophobia in Europe. Okay, I hope that some of you must have watched the first segment, and if you have not watched the first segment, I would like to encourage you to go to my channel and check the first segment of this very video before watching the second segment, so that we can all be on the same page. Okay, so if today happens to be the first time of you checking out my channel, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and follow me on my Facebook and Instagram. And if you have any video you want me to react to, don't forget to drop it at the comment section and I'm going to check it out. So guys, before we get on to the video, I'm a theologian and I make this video not to discredit anyone's religion. This is basically for educational purposes, and I believe that at the end of this video we all are going to learn from this. So guys, without any further ado, let's get on to this video and check this out.
Welcome back to Matters of Faith. I'm Christiana Bakam. With me in the studio is Carla Barajati, and we're talking about overcoming Islamophobia in Europe. Now, before the break, we were just trying to figure out where is it particularly bad and where are there some better examples where it's, quite good in terms of...
Recent research shows us that countries where Islam has a tradition, is acknowledged, where there are principles of mutual understanding and building bridges, the situation is better. And of course I'm happy to feel that Austria, as a good example, is mirrored in this report. And if we have guests of different Muslim countries, they always state, oh, it's nice to be walking in Austrian streets. I feel that people respect me, I feel free, and it's a nice atmosphere with you. There are other countries like Great Britain who have a long tradition in finding solutions, the Muslim Council for Britain.
Yes.
And there are countries where we have reports of difficult issues like France, and perhaps France with its system of secularism, not to be secularism like in Austria, where we have a balanced way of interference between state and religions, kind of partnership, but of course different spheres that are not asking to be responsible for the other. So it's a separation, but a friendly separation, and there is something they have in common. And in France it's laicistic, and this sharp separation is not easy, especially when it comes to Muslim needs.
Yes, because all sorts of things are forbidden. I mean, any kind of expression of the faith in the public sphere is completely forbidden. Yet a Muslim cannot really do anything but express and show their identity.
Yes, and I think it needs again dialogue. For example, take the veil, that raises so many questions. If you know that people might fear, 20 years later and more Muslims, do they want us to wear the veil like them? Then of course we need to answer and say, no, it's my own business and you are free. Do what you like. Dress like you like.
And also that the veil doesn't mean terrorism or
fundamentalism or being narrow-minded or anything
or suppressed
or a victim.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, how important do you think is the media, the role of the media? I would like to talk to you about in terms of Islamophobia and racism in Europe. Do you think they're doing their job properly?
Well, I don't want to come into this choir of people putting all the blame on the media, for I strongly believe in the power of media as the fourth power in any democratic system, fostering debates and discourse and, in the best sense, enlightenment. So I think it's about professionalism in dealing with Islam and Muslims. And many people complain about something like illiteracy when it comes to Islam, not knowing about how it works, what it is about, using the correct terms. Simple example, since the case of Salman Rushdie, many people mix up the word fatwa with a death sentence, which is complete rubbish.
Yes.
It's nothing but something like a statement, a guideline, an interpretation, but it even gives space for your personal attitude towards it.
Yes.
So it needs more knowledge.
It's a
on Islam.
judicial statement
Yes,
as well.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. But anyhow, we need this more knowledge.
Also, the terms Islamism and Islam are often mixed up.
That's true.
One
and
is a
sometimes
political ideology, the other one is the faith.
But terms change. I do remember when scientists called themselves Islamists. Only some 20 years ago, you have it in the back of some books.
Like Orientalists, you mean?
Yes, yes. Somebody knowing about Islam, specialist. So terms change.
Yes.
Well, again, the media work has to be understood. Media are, in a sense, instruments that are not only communication, but they are consumed. So you need to be consumer orientated.
Yes.
And if media want to have it the easy going way, they may tend to give something that feeds the existing mindset of people, not to give them the trouble of questioning old prejudice.
And also, of course, as you said before, bad news sells. So you have a terrorist on the front page that sells better than a group of nice Muslims who sit together.
Absolutely true. But then I know so many colleagues who have the ethical principles about good journalism, where it's a real pleasure to work with.
Yes.
And
who like to feature enlightened thinkers, scholars.
And what I think is essential in making good news is to be curious, to to answer questions, and not to have all the questions prepared beforehand, but to be flexible enough to ask more questions and new questions. And nothing worse than a journalist looking just for a face for his story.
Exactly, and especially not having all the answers already in your head before writing the interview, which is...
And of course you have certain role models, perceptions. If you have a veiled woman, she is traditionalist. And perhaps you have a veiled lady who is more modern and open thinking than an unveiled lady.
Exactly.
So you have to present it in a proper sense.
Now, how much do you think do Muslims themselves play a role in fostering these prejudices, the bad images? Perhaps, they react a little bit too emotional at times to certain crises, like after the cartoon crisis, the burning flags left, right and center and so on.
Well, of course, it's very important to ask this critical question as well. And as Muslims, we should be open towards self-criticism, not to be just proud about ourselves without digging a little deeper and finding out where we need to improve ourselves. And being too touchy won't bring us any further in public debate. And the cartoon crisis, of course, is an example for this. But I'd like to be critical about all sides. And if we look at it closely, we'll find that the cartoon crisis is mostly about denying dialogue. Because it started when? September 2005. And the great debates and what the scenes in the Muslim countries outside, the rage we saw, was in the beginning of 2006. What has happened all these months? And there were several tryings of Muslims to get into dialogue in Denmark, and they were denied because they were told, you have to get taught this lesson. Shut up. You have to learn about freedom of speech. And
then one media after the other kept copying the same cartoons.
Yes, absolutely. And then we have, this is again something we have to be critical about the media and how they work, looking for certain images, pictures that back up prejudice or mindsets people have when thinking about Muslims. Muslims being always too touchy, too emotional. And then we have the pictures of flags of Denmark being burned, crying people, carrying Quran. When I watched other programs, the satellite channels, I saw other pictures. I saw very distinguished scientists sitting in a studio, Christian, Muslim, secular, debating how can we get over it. I saw people bringing flowers, presenting it to other people. So it's about showing the whole range of possibilities and cover everything. And I do remember a debate I had in Austrian TV with somebody, a filmmaker, who made a report on all the events. He asked me in the end, but why don't you have people like you? And the moderator asked him, why don't you show people like her?
Good point.
So we need the full coverage, no doubt.
I wish you good luck with your important work, and we'll be back with another edition of Matters of Faith very soon. Take care and goodbye.
Whoa. That's a very interesting video. At least we have listened to Kyla, Amina, and then also Christine, of course, discussing Islamophobia in Europe. We also look at and understand the way forward, what people need to do in order to put back confidence to the life of a Muslim in Europe, so that as they are actually in the Europe, they can be able to say that I'm European, but then a Muslim, a proud Muslim. Now we also look at the media perception about Muslim and how they look at Islam. Like they pointed out at the course of the video, is to have an open dialogue. Sometimes you can be able to have one-on-one innocent discussion with people and explain to them what Islam is really all about and what Islam stands for. You can actually discuss the values of Islam, because sometimes people tend to do some of these things without knowing, and that's why one of the best way is education. When you're able to educate the people and make them understand what this religion is really all about, at least it can be able to change a lot of narratives when it comes to Islam. A lot has been discussed in this video, and I believe that some of you have listened to this video carefully, and then also some of the points they are raising at the course of the video. I hope that after you have watched this video, you can now have a different perception about Islam. But then one thing I would also like to point out is, please, as you tend to learn about this Islam, okay, do not understand in the other way around. I will not expect you to still be believing on this narrative that Islam, religion of terror, religion of oppression, that they oppress women and all those things. They force women to wear hijab and all those things. After listening to this, you got to realize that they are doing this thing because of God commanded it. And even if you want to look at it as a Christian, you'd bear with me that even as a Christian, it was expected that the women should actually cover themselves and be pious and be devoted, to their religion. But Christians have decided to leave it for the Catholic, and even the Catholic, only the nun. They are the ones that you see them covering themselves. So what now happened to us? You see, so those are the certain things. They just do it, and not that because of maybe they want to use it to hide weapons, to go and destroy people, or go and nothing like that, suicide bombing and the rest of it. Nothing like that. They are just covering themselves because of God commanded them. And then for some people, who tend to suffer in their organizations. Maybe probably they get attacked at the cause of it. Some maybe children, when they go to school and all those things, they face this hostility against Muslim and all those things. I believe that these have helped, you understand, to explain, you understand, why some people do what they do. But then I want some of us who will watch this as Christians, and then some could be Hindu and all that, at least when you watch this video, I expect you to be able to like learn about Islam, understand what Islam is all about, since most of the things that we had discussed here we are actually in detail, so that you can be able to like really learn what the religion is really all about, and not about what you have heard, you understand, about religion. Even though the video actually discuss more about the spread of Islam that is in the Europe. Well, I want to also say is that for some of us who came from Africa, like the way or the method in which Islam were spread, or the method in which they spread Islam, in a sense, as of that time, was not on how it is at this moment. So now my question is, what will the Muslims, okay, do to be able to change the narrative, let's say for instance in Africa? Because one thing I want you to understand, or I want you all to understand, is Africa actually, we are not actually the people that they are known for worshiping idols. These are what our great grandparents in the time we are doing, they worship idols, and that's what they believe in. They do not believe in Christianity or Islam and all those things. All this religion, we are all both introduced, you understand, to Africa. Now this is the situation we have find ourselves, and at the cause of it, I want you to understand that during that time, centuries have gone, a lot of centuries have gone, and I want you to understand that a lot of it were actually spread, you understand, by violence. That is, you understand, yeah, how I understand it, okay, or this is how, you understand, I know it. Now to talk about like my people, how can the Muslim now reconcile this by explaining to them that in as much as this is how the religion was spread to you as of that time, and that's why some people tend to resist it. Now the narratives have changed. How can you reconcile those wounds, in a sense, from them? This is what that I think that they need to do. Though I know in Europe was not spread like that, but in Africa was a different thing entirely. And then for people who like history, you can kind of go to history and then tend to check how Islam was spread, and that's why I'm saying that. And this one is also applicable to every Muslim. How do you reconcile with those people and make them understand that, well, despite the fact that this is the method in which it was done, but then it was wrong, but this is the right way in which Islam is supposed to be seen, in as much as these people do it this way. Then from there, I think that it will, you know, kind of heal a lot of wounds. That's, I do not know if maybe the Muslim can take my advice and maybe do it like that. I think you can be able to like change a lot of narrative about the religion, just like how Amina pointed out that, but by having an open dialogue. So I think that there will be a need for an open dialogue, not for argument. And that's the reason why people have been saying that I should go and debate some Islamic scholars, you understand, about Jesus Christ, about Christianity. And I say to them that that's one thing that I don't like about debate. Debate is something that, of course, I have done even since I was in my, you know, basic school till university and all those. It's something that I have been doing at the course of it, high school and the rest of it. But what I prefer when it comes to religion at this level, on how I understand religion, is I would prefer to go for a symposium where I could have a Muslim scholar. He was going to explain Islam to the people, and I'm going to explain, in a sense, Christianity to the people, and then from there the people will now decide. I think that one will be better rather than debate. Reason why I don't like debate is because debate tend to divide the people, and that's the reason why I do not like debate. But then I hope that because of this video we have learned a lot, you understand, about Islam. We have learned about Islamophobia and how to also avoid it. So this is the end of my video. If you like my reaction, you should like, share and subscribe. And if you have any video you want me to react to, don't forget to drop it at the comment section and I'm going to check it out. So guys, you remain blessed and I see you in my next video. Bye bye.